Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. One of the pieces of software we use recently did a huge update. That's OBS for those of you who are in the know. And it messed with a bunch of my plugins. It looks cool. It's got all sorts of nice, big, easy to use buttons and stuff. I like the new interface. I haven't dug too deep yet. But anyway, that's what's going on. Also, you have to let me know what you think of the new camera situation. I'm trying to retire the, whatchamacallit, I'm looking around for it, the webcam. I have used this thing for, let me get it out here. Oh, that's too much. This thing. I've used this thing for 10 years now, I want to guess, because I used it for work before we used it for the channel, and we've been using it the entire time on the channel. The channel's been here for 7 years, so oh my gosh. Anyway, let me also move some of this stuff around so I can see what y'all are saying. Hopefully you can hear what I'm saying. Futon L2 says evening all. Mark Olson says evening folks. Daniel Bear says howdy. Futon says camera looks great. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Doing one chip challenge. Are you doing it? Because I'm not doing it. We bought one of those chip things on a road trip, and we got it home. And Ella, she wanted to do it. And I'm like, okay, well, I need to try it first before I'm gonna let you try it. And first of all, the thing tastes like something you stepped in out in the field. It tastes horrible. And all I did was take a nibble of it. I'm like, nope, this is stupid. Oh. Jason says, good evening, Brother Bear and friends. And Di says, good evening from Wisconsin. Let me pop out the chat so I can actually read it without craning my neck. There we go. All right. Live chat. There we go. Is that right? That's right. That camera does not owe you any money. Mater's Workshop, member 30 months. Holy cow. This is getting a bear. I hope my free tool video works. I hope it does too. I think you're very above board in that whole thing, letting everybody know what's going on. I don't think there'll be any issues with it. And I think we're also getting to a maturity level on YouTube where people realize not everyone can afford to go out and just randomly buy every single tool they want to test. It's just not feasible. So it's anyway. Ed C says hi, nice look, thank you. The camera I'm using, the new camera, it's my iPhone. There's a piece of software you can use on your iPhone that'll let you use it as a webcam. So I get to use the nice iPhone kind of camera, and it looks a good bit clearer. You can see all the problems with my skin. Woo. Anyway, Nick Hoffman says, I'm neither late nor am I early. I arrive precisely when I intend to. Well, Hawk says, how goes it, Master Jeff? Pretty good, man. How goes it for you? Oh, the same vid looks better than last time. Clean the lens. Not so much. Owen Sheep says, hello all. And Tom A says, getting from the Washington State. Michael says, hey boss, live and direct on Network 23. What is news? What is news? Well, the missus, I don't know if the missus is going to be joining us tonight because she's got let's just say a medical procedure in the morning that is pretty typical for those of you who live with Crohn's and typical for people who get of an older age. So she's prepping for that tonight. She's not in the best of moods. Let's just put it that way. Poor thing. She's going through it. Anyone else notice audio's not in sync with the video? If you don't think it is, if other people are seeing that, I would love to hear that because, it's, let me see, where's my live feed? Live feed, is the camera the camera might be a tad bit slow because it's doing the, whatchamacallit, because it's doing it wirelessly, connecting over wireless to the router, back through the wire into the computer. Maybe I should just enable the microphone on the device if other people are having a problem with that. All right. Let's see here. Where was I? There we go. Greg Crocker says evenings from or greetings from Omaha. Your video and audio are out of sync part of the time. See, and then Di says you are in sync. Luke asks, how was your week? It was a long, busy week. So we're getting ready to head down to the Vegas area for a couple months. And we're staging it. I'm going down first. Well, it's even better. So the missus, her mom, is moving to Livingston. So that's awesome. Having Nana here close for the Cubs and for us is going to be super cool. So she's moving up here. So this week, Jess is flying to her mom's, helping her finish up the last of the stuff. They've got movers grabbing everything, and then they're flying back. They get back, and then 2 days later, I think 3 days later, I leave. Me and the Hound and the truck. I'm driving my truck, pulling Duncan's truck, and headed down south. And then they fly out 2 weeks after that to come down and meet us. Because she wants to be here. In fact, I'm the person who said she had to do this. That I wanted her to get her mom all set up and everything here before we take off for 2 months. Not that there's, it's a small town. Everything's around the corner and whatnot. So, and lots of people she already knows. Getting colder out there. Winter is soon. I can see. I looked across the other day. I freaked out. I looked out the window. I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful. Is that snow? Yes, we have snow on the mountains. It's true story. And that's not just up north now. That is here in Livingston. It's up on the upper peaks. It's not even on Mount Livingston. It's on the peaks behind it going into the Absarokas. And so cold days are coming. It's getting a little nippy right here. I looked at the weather down in Vegas, and it's getting chilly. It's got to be, I think, in the low 90s. So, time to better bring a sweater. Oh my gosh. Well, iPhone I know, right? So I've stayed away from the iPhone stuff for a long time, but because of the camera stuff and just trying something new, we decided to switch over to the iPhones. The camera's gorgeous. I hate the iPhone. I hate it with dirty, rotten pleasure. I hate this thing. Even my wife, who's not very techie, who when we met had all Macs, had only ever been on Macs, worked in an office that was all Macs. All she knew was Mac. When smartphones came out, I put her on Android because if I'm going to support it, it's going to be Android. And she fell in love with it, and she absolutely hates with a passion her iPhone, and it's the iPhone 13 Pro. She would rather go back to a Moto G power. Let's see here. The cam gets choppy. I wonder if it's Wi-Fi. I wonder if there's a way I can hook it up to have it run cable into the PC. I'll try that next time. Not perfect sync, but not worth risking it. It's horrible. Audio is out of sync, just like a 70s kung fu movie. You don't know what you're talking about. Definitely not in time. I'm sorry about that. We'll work on it. Audio and video seems fine. Wohawk says. Let's see here. Also, hey, don't forget, if you want me to read your comment for sure, put right down here. You just do that. If you type at the Den of Tools, you have to have the Den of Tools, and make sure it's all together. There's the missus. How you doing?
Not great.
Not great. Anyway, so you have to have that all together, and you don't have to capitalize it. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. You have to have the in it. Some people leave out the. So anyway, Mater's Workshop. You're trying Mater's Workshop. Sorry. Kevin says bought the Bauer 20 volt 3.5 gallon vacuum today. Was kind of disappointed when it was missing an attachment. It says it should have had on the box. That's weird. Oh my gosh, what's behind me? There's a Griffin. Hey Griff.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
Eleanor, how are you doing?
Good.
How are you? What you up to?
Eating food.
Did you bring me snacks?
Nope.
No. Hey Griffin, you got a Griffin tag on.
I know. Actually, don't know if we brought you snacks or not. I keep on doing that.
I don't care. Have a hug?
Yeah.
Who cares about Dad? Who cares about Dad? All right. Let's see here. Da-da-da-da. Hello from South Carolina, Timothy says. P-Lark says it was 97 in North Cali. Oof. Had some snow this week on Mount Rose, just south of Reno. Michael says the desync kind of sort of reminds me of dubbing in the 60s Japanese monster movies. The Mater says we have a cold front coming in later this week. It's going to be in the mid-90s. Let's see, what else are we? Where are we at here? It's funny because a lot of people say it looks fine, and other people are like, there's some issues with it. Not sure here. Neil F. says, thanks for the great channel and live stream. Local welding supply got my paycheck this week. I got a Hypertherm plasma cutter. Nice. Nice. What kind of air compressor are you going to be running that off of? TJT says, my Bauer 20 volt miter saw is soft start. All the features. And, oh, you got that. You got the 20 volt miter saw. Or did you, wait, or I thought you said my Bauer. You said the Bauer. Okay. Well, if you got it, let me know. I'm not going to be picking it up, unfortunately, because, as I said, we're about to be traveling. So, really, I don't have time to do a ton of reviews. I've got a whole bunch of stuff stacked up that I'm behind on. A bunch of power supply kind of stuff. I got to tell you, there's one power supply coming from a company that I gave no credence to. They were one of the e-bike companies, and the bike they sent was the one that I call the IKEA bike you have to put together yourself. And I'm like, there's no way. This company's like, can we please syndicate? I'm like, fine, just send it, whatever. But I'm not going to guarantee I'm going to do a video. There will be a video. I was thoroughly impressed. What have you been using to stream in the past? I never remember which model this is. It's like the E110 or something like that. This was the, come on, see if we can focus on it. No, he's not going to focus. Come off of it. Anyway, this was the corporate webcam for the last decade. Until they started getting all excited with all the new stuff and everything. And I'll tell you what, I've bought a lot of the newer webcams, and I've tried them, and I've yet to see anything that has as good a picture as that. Not that webcams have a great picture, but for a webcam, decent picture. Not as good as this. Let me see here. The Isaac says hello. Frank says I'm watching commercials. How many commercials? I saw a rumor that they're doing like more than 2 commercials now in front of some streams and some videos. Mike Adams says, hello, Bears and Cubs. The Greg says, it seems like Lowe's is mostly Black & Decker, Home Depot, TTI, and Menards Chevron. Is that about right? I don't think I could say that Menards is mostly Chevron. Chevron makes the Masterforce stuff, and they definitely push that as the main one. But I believe they've got Bosch and somebody else in there as well. They might have that Hammerhead stuff, which would be Chevron also. I don't have a Menards around me, so it's kind of hard to remember. I've only been there twice in the last decade. But Black & Decker, Lowe's is mostly Stanley Black & Decker. But they're also strongly in Chevron because they carry Ego, they carry Skill Saw, and Cobalt. Their house brand is made by Chevron. So Lowe's is pretty strong into Chevron as well. Home Depot is hardcore into TTI. Now they carry DeWalt and they carry Makita, but they don't push those ones the way they push the in-house brands. Who actually likes an iPhone? iPhone or Apple stockholders, I think, are pretty fond of it. But people are fanatic about it. And honestly, I'm just not impressed. It's got a slick interface. It's definitely, fast in the whole 9 yards. But I could do everything that I did on my my $200, $250 phone for the Moto Power G. And on top of that, did it have as good a camera? No, did not have as good a camera. But I wouldn't have to charge it for days. And this thing gets charged multiple times a day. Let's see here. If you could only buy 1/2 inch cordless drive impact gun, which one would it be? If I could only buy one, this is no, I mean, not a whole lot of. I mean, I've got the Hercules; it works fine. The Milwaukee would be. I mean, if I'm paying for it, I'm not gonna pay the Milwaukee prices because I'm not gonna get the usefulness out of it that you're paying for with the Milwaukee one. I would have gotten the Hercules at this weekend with 10% off at what was that? It was $180 and a 12-volt battery for how much? 150, 140. No. If someone was giving me one, I don't know. It's probably Milwaukee. But then if I have to buy the batteries for it later, ugh. Let's see here. Frank says, hello, Tool fans. Mohawk says, my old biology teacher would always say, I hope everything comes out okay. Yes. I think we all had that teacher at some point in our lives. They were disturbed. They clearly had some sort of issue and could not get past it. I don't know why. I never did understand that joke. I mean, I get the joke, but that IKEA bike might use pausing screw heads. Let me make sure I'm not missing people here. There we go. Let me highlight some of these things. I get behind. If I get behind, please don't start like peppering me with the same question over and over. I get to it. I just take time to actually fully answer people rather than just, blowing people off like a lot of people do. So it means it takes longer for me to get to questions. Tom says, mine are random voice out of sync here, mostly listening, work, and garbage cleanup. That's right. You don't want to look at me anyway. I'm not the pretty one around here, that's for sure. Michael says, made a little sign to annoy people. It reads, never trust anything with more than 30 transistors in it. It's paraphrasing an old Timothy Leary quote. Nice. Craig Tracksaw and Wise Buy, they're great tools. Don't get me wrong. They're pretty pricey. If you can get them on sale, yeah, it'd be a great buy. Mike says, been comfortable here in East Tennessee, but for the past hour, it's been raining like a cow peeing on a flat rock. I think it's over now, though. That was us this past couple days. It was raining pretty hard around here. The ground it's been dry all day, and the ground is still wet. Jeep says, so have you thought about using a GoPro or something like that? I have used a GoPro or tried to use a GoPro in the past. And the issue with the GoPro is that, for me, they overheat. How you feeling, babe?
I'm okay.
Okay. Go lay down or something.
Okay.
They understand.
Sorry, gang.
Love you.
Love you.
Poor thing. I just always not only did I have a problem with them overheating, they never wanted to, like, every time when I set them up, I'd have to like do a dance, sacrifice a chicken. They never worked the same way twice, and it was like, it should be pretty simple technology. I plug this in. I've got iPhone 8s. I have the little cage that lets you plug it in. And I've got a top-of-the-line, audio or video capture card. And every time it was something different. It was weird, and honestly, I did not feel, and we did a test, I did not feel that the video quality was a significant step up. Because I would love, like we did when we had the old shop here, I often did a thing where I'd have multiple cameras, and you could like talk to me, and then I could show you like the back of the shop, I could show you over there, just by pressing a button and jumping around. I love the idea of the multiple camera setup. But yeah, that not with the GoPros. They're just not worth it. Too much of a pain. The TJT Workshop says, I was able to get one at 160 ITC price. It's bigger than expected, but it has a perfect feature set. I'm very pleased. Outfit with 60T Diablo blade. Very satisfied. I take it you're talking about the saw. I'll tell you what, anybody who's got that saw, if you want to shoot some video on your phone and send it to me, it'd be great. I'd love to be able to use it and show it to some people. It's you can email me at red@denoftools.com. No, just den of tools. Kevin says Menards also sells skill. I thought I saw something like that there. It's been a while. Frank says I had 2 ads about every 3 minutes. Whew. There. You know what it is? It's an election year, and I think they're starting to ramp up. That and the economy's doing whatever the economy's doing right now. Rip your 401k. I'm sorry, but not good. Neil says need to upgrade air. Currently a Makita 3 horsepower, but looking into a gas Ingersoll Rand. Got to reconfigure my truck bed. I have a Quincy 60 gallon at 3 horsepower at home, but mainly do mobile stuff. Oh, okay. The physics channel with Kenny Lee. Cobalt is a great tool sim. I think so too. Futon says, what irks me about the commercials lately is there have been plenty of commercials longer than a video to watch. I watched a 12-minute video and it had a 47-minute commercial. Oh my goodness. What I hate are the commercials that I get that are like your algorithm is clearly screwed up. I mean, I'm not going to be using any of these products. And the one that actually bothers me the most is a local. It's Stockman Bank, which is local here in Montana. And I have a great bank. It's local in town. We live in a small town called Livingston, just north of the park, the Yellowstone there that I'm talking about. And I like banking local. I like going in and having them, like, I don't have to get out my ID. I don't have to fill up. They're like, oh, what do you need? And they fill out everything because they know exactly who I am. I like that kind of, my local bank. I like supporting local when I can. And anyway, I wish there was a way I could be like, nope, I'm never going to use your service. And then they don't have to waste their money anymore. But they pay for all these unskippable ads. And the first 4 weeks was them looking for employees. And oh, I get it. It's desperate trying to find employees around here, but no, I'm not going to be doing that. Kurt Marino says my iPhone 6S is 7 years old and still going strong. That's awesome. Michael says picked up a highly rugged waterproof Oaktail with 8 amp hour battery. It's actually fairly good, hard to kill and cheap. About $200 on Amazon. Old Craigman says, yeah, I got a 43-year-old Hoover vacuum in excellent condition. Yeah, some of those old vacuums, they just, you can just keep cleaning them and replacing some belts every so often. They just keep going. YouTube says, good evening. Where's the Mrs. Bear? She's not feeling so hot. She's got a procedure tomorrow that she is having to deal with. So she's laying down right now. ACLs, have you ever used a 2-stroke rear-wheel drive lawnmower before? Have I used a 2-stroke? Well, I never really thought about it. Back in the day, I did some work for a landscaping company, and it was like the kind like you walk behind, and it's got the huge handlebars like way out to the sides, and and it had like a drum system. I don't know what that was, but I mean, I haven't used a gas lawnmower in. Well, 30 years. Oh, anyway. The Fred says, I'm here for the bear. For the beer? Oh, the beer. I misread that. Let's see here. Neil says, prayers and happy thoughts for the missus. I will pass them on. Tom says, take care, Mrs. Bear. I think she said thank you. I'm not sure. Kellen says, why go pro gets hot too. Wilhawk says, no, you're not the pretty one. Perhaps if you exfoliate maybe a little product, you never know, right? Neil says, good luck with the procedure tomorrow. And Owen's Jeep Stuff has a sad face for Mrs. Bear. How do you do the deer animations in your video? The deer that you see in my video are real, and they're very tasty. We don't talk about the bear. The bear, especially on the weekends. Bear doesn't work weekends, so you'll have to wait till like Monday or Tuesday to see him. In fact, and if we get anybody else here looking for the bear, so For a lot of you, and I know you don't think about this, the bear thing qualifies this channel as a VTuber channel. And the bear's been around since 2016. And a lot of people got really into the whole VTubing community, a lot of gamers and anime type folks and stuff. And that all happened really in like was it like 3 or 4 years ago? It's been building up over that time. So some people recently found out about me from that segment, and we're stunned to find out that I predate most of the other VTubers out, at least any of the English-speaking American VTubers, that by a good bit. So that got shared on Twitter, and then somebody picked it up. That was Twitter on 2 days ago, and then yesterday somebody picked it up and did a video on YouTube about it. So we can get a bunch of people coming over from those channels, trying to see who the OG bear is. So if you see comments and stuff like that, that's why. And if you're here, sorry, no bear this weekend. Come back on Monday. You'll probably get a look at him. The Frank says prayers for Jesse King. Dapper Penguin says, Dental Tools, should I use an electric pressure washer or gas pressure washer to clean a plastic fence? Well, it really depends on the fence and what's on it. I mean, I would imagine in most cases an electric pressure washer could do just a fine job, especially if you pre-treat it, pre-soak it, put some soap on it and stuff first, and then you're just rinsing it off. Unless it's, I mean, it's hard to say because there's lots of different kinds of plastic. And I would imagine with plastic, you'd be really worried about cutting into it too much, and a high-powered pressure washer will definitely do that. Fred says, here in Colorado, through our last 90 days, we're now between 80s to 60s. Up in the mountains, it's been snowing for the last week or two. Snow for us is just around the corner. Yeah, I could smell it. About 3 weeks ago, I'm like, the season has turned, and it's coming fast. We're not all that high here compared to most of the Rockies. We're about 4,600 feet, I think, where we are. So, and Montana, for as many mountains as we have, I think the highest peaks are around 12,000. They're not the tallest in the world. Luke says, Mrs. the Bear has nothing to be sorry for. Get some rest, and we'll see her next time. Hope everything goes well. Thank you so much. I'm sure it will. TJT Workshop says, I'll send video of the saw on Instagram, easier for me. Awesome. Mark says, don't look at your 401k without an air sickness bag. Yeah. Greg says, need to go. Night all. Good night. Frank Landgraf Manscape. Michael says, commercial. Apparently I'm using some software that clips most of that out. On the phone, I see them. Here, nada. Guess I need to find out what I'm using. Mike Adams says, yeah, Jesse, go rest up so we can pick on you next week. Nice. Oh, and happy fall, everybody. Somehow we missed the celebrating the fact that we have now transitioned from the summer season into fall. And I hope you're all getting your pumpkin spice, everything ready. We are getting our own Starbucks here in town. And we will not be going there. So, let's see here. Kevin says, thinking about the Makita coffee maker as the temps are starting to drop. Not a bit of, you know what? You can also use it just to heat up water. You can make soup and stuff with that. All sorts of good stuff if you're out on the job site. Dida says, I just saw that you're at 208,000 subs. Congrats. Thank you very much. Yeah, we hit 200,000 subs earlier this year. We broke 50 million views earlier this year, so it's been a year of milestones. Sorry, I'm going to sit back and get comfortable here. The missus isn't here to pester me. Let me tilt this down a bit. There we go. All right. There we go. Fred says, finally found an RV trailer my SUV can tow. It's a Rove Light, 14-foot FD, gross weight's 2,500. Looks like they want 25,000. MSRP is 27. Oh. All right, here's the only thing I'm going to say, because based on the price, it sounds like it's new. And I hate saying bad things about things that people are planning to buy and stuff like that. Go look at the build quality. Like, get underneath it. Pull the drawers out of the cabinets and look at the back of them. Because when we went to buy our RV, I ended up buying in 2019 because everything I saw made 2020 and later, they were just rushing through so badly. We were looking at a fairly high-end RV. And the guy's showing me all this stuff, and he pulls out the drawer to show the fit and the finish. I put my hand underneath and come out with just covered in splinters because the entire bottom is blown out. So I stop and I'm like, and I pick all these out. And he's like, "Oh, I'm really sorry." I pull the drawer out, and he's all like, I don't know if you should do that." The entire bottom looked like a porcupine from and all the drawers are like that. Everything. Anytime you look behind the facade, and half the time the facade is bad, but anytime you look behind the facade on these new ones, it is just ugly, ugly, ugly. And then the thing is, a lot of them, what they do, these dealers, is they just sell them, knowing that you're going to come back to them for service, and they're going to be able to do that service under warranty, so that's already paid for. But warranty service can take 6 months now. They're so behind. All that to say is, if you can buy a really lightly used one, well, bug or something, if you can buy a really lightly used one, I would recommend buying something pre 2020. Implusant says, "Hari, hope the missus will be okay. Love your channel. Obviously, you know a lot about the tools. Love, kudos." Let's see here. Wohawk says, "Looks like I need a brand new phone charging cable, USB and USB-C. Would like about 10 foot long. I'm economically challenged. What might you suggest?" In that case, I would get one of the braided ones off of Amazon. Like, get like an Anchor? Yeah. Anchor. Off it. I'll be honest, the best cables I've used are DeWalt. They're not cheap, but they last. And I bought a 10-pack of braided ones off of Amazon, and they lasted for 2 years, which was good. But I've got a DeWalt one that's older than that, and it's still going. Fred says, "I would love to go with a Class B or Class B Plus van, but the prices are just too much." Here's my take. I had a Class A, 33 foot. Just beautiful thing to drive. Giant, panoramic windows. You feel like you're driving a yacht. You get to where you're going. You press the buttons, the stabilizers come down, slides go out. It's stupid easy to set up and camp. And we're ready to go. You just retract everything and you're gone. I won't own another motorized a motorhome because it's another engine, another transmission, another drivetrain to take care of and manage. Of course, that's easy for me to say because I've got a 1-ton pickup, but we bought the 1-ton pickup because we knew we were going to be towing. So and then also when you get where you're going, here's the problem with motorhomes. You have to tow a vehicle if you're really traveling, because you get where you're going, you set up camp, now you want to go in town, or you want to go see the sights, or you want to go do this or that or the other thing. You got to pull up stakes and go. Because unless you're towing another vehicle, then you're towing another vehicle. Anyway, I think you'd be a lot happier doing what you're doing. And we got Marine X. Marine X, man, if you haven't seen his channel, he's been killing it. He's got a lot of EDC stuff he's been doing, talking about he's covering a lot of the knives lately. Benchmade, I'm a big fan of Benchmade. If I could find my Benchmade knife, that would be stellar if I could find it. I only paid $260 for it. It'd be great if I knew where it was. Now that it's fall, we will see blue for a couple videos. We'll see blue for a couple videos. Also, would you get an electric truck if it pulled more than your 3500? I love electric vehicles. I had a hybrid when I used to have to commute in the Bay Area, well, from the Central California to the Bay Area, and we did so. In fact, I worked with Tesla. And our company consulted with Tesla on some stuff. And I'm getting to see all the stuff. I've driven some Teslas. I absolutely love electric vehicles. I love the low maintenance. I love the instant torque. I love, you know what? Driving a big V8 stuff like is awesome and stuff. But there's something to be said for the quiet also. You know, I'm originally a sailor from way back when I used to live near water. Now that I'm up here in the mountains. But anyway, the point is that there was nothing that made me happier than dropping or turning off the engine, raising the sails, and just letting the wind take it. So I am true blue about electric vehicles. But I just don't think that if I could get it, if it was the same price, I would go electric. If it did the same thing at the same price, there's no way I would stick with diesel. Especially having to do, the DEF fluid and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I love my truck, but just the ability of using it more like an appliance, be able to turn on and just go and have all that torque and everything, I would love to do that. But I don't see that happening with the current battery tech. We're going to need to see a jump in battery tech before electric towables for the everyday person is a reasonable thing. Let's see here. Let me get back to where I was. Mike says, speaking of old tools, I found an old woodworking textbook that I guess belonged to my grandfather or my dad. Copyright 1961, packed with info. Knowledge is a powerful tool. Yes, it is. It's the best tool you have in your tool drawer. Linda asked, do you have any opinions on Capri tools? I do. I think they're a very good graded tool. I don't think they are significantly better or worse than most of the other tool truck alternative options out there. And I'm talking like Icon at Harbor Freight or Gear Wrench or Tecton or any of the, or was it, what's the one at Carlisle over at Napa? They're all excellent solutions. That said, the Capri, how do I say this? I feel like they make it hard to get a hold of their tools, but maybe that's just me. Anyway, Jeff Teeter says, our high today was 104. Oof. Yeah. No. Fred says, here's something funny. Polar bears aren't white, they're blue. Okay. Mark says, I have the Capri thin open-end wrench. Very happy with them. Mark says, and Shana Tova for those who celebrate. Oh, let's see here. Fred says, hey, Bear, are you able to see the Northern Lights in Montana? At times. I have never seen in my life the Northern Lights. There was a couple episodes here this past year where we could have seen them. And one time it was too cloudy, we couldn't see it. And the other time it was going to be like at 4 in the morning. And apparently I didn't set my alarm. I set it for like 4 p.m. rather than 4 a.m. So we missed them. Saw some great pictures other people got of them. In fact, the wife and I were just talking about next year driving up into Canada to take the kids up there to make sure we get to see them. So that should be fun. Steve says, he said that exactly, quoting him verbatim here. He also said, I've used Ryobi for years, thinking of changing Hercules. Would love Milwaukee, but price comes into play. I don't know if I would change to Hercules if I was already strongly into Ryobi. Here's why. Ryobi HP line is fabulous. I don't like the batteries. I've been very adamant about the whole battery system thing. I'm not a fan of the form factor, and the quality of the batteries is just it's so-so. Some of their higher stuff, like they have that high output 9 amp hour one that you can't buy anywhere, so that's a problem as well. I would hold off in getting into the Hercules line until they actually prove they're coming out with the core tools like brushless drill, brushless impact, brushless hammer drill. You got to get those 3 out. And they said they were. They told me personally that was going to be out before the end of the year. I can't wait to say it. I can also tell you that there is, not necessarily, there is going to be huge, epic news at SEMA. So, and I will be going to SEMA. So, hopefully we'll be there to report on it live. Yepper's annual equinox was the 22nd. Slept through it. Any thoughts on the WorkPro mechanics tool set? I haven't looked at it in person, and I realize I'm probably being biased when I say this. I like WorkPro stuff, but a lot of the stuff they have is really cheap, and it's really bargain basement kind of stuff. It's not the worst. I mean, I've seen worse. Like, it's not like, that bend every tool in this cardboard box for $1 kind of thing. No, it's not that kind of cheap. But it's lower grade than I would prefer to work with if I have to. But in some cases that's great. Like I absolutely love. I talk about their box cutters all the time. I'm looking for my box cutter, and I'm looking for it, and I'm looking for it.
It's on the table.
Where?
Over there. Over here. One second, I'll get it.
Someone was using my box cutter before.
Because I was told to.
He was told to, but he was also told to do what with tools?
Put them away.
Put them away. Put them back where you got them. All right. What's the best utility razor blade, folder or slider? Not looking for a traditional Fat Max. Well, you're probably not going to appreciate my view on it. Griffin's going to go get it right now. I was trying to look around to see if I had another one. I don't have another box. These are the only ones I'll use. You'll see it in a minute. The Nipix has gotten a good review. Nipix makes fantastic stuff. Not everything they make, by the way, is great, but most of the stuff they make is fantastic. Would you go battery or air powered for your first brad nailer? For me, I would go battery. I'm not a professional, I'm not in the building industry anymore. I was a carpenter / we did rehab, so it was wore a lot of hats. When I say rehab, like we take old houses, get rid of all the bad stuff, rebuild them, so it was a small crew. You had to wear a lot of hats. But that said, I worked with air nailers, love air nailers, but these days I don't use my air compressor for much, and I would definitely get one of the cordless ones. Now that back to the box cutter, WorkPro. That's the box cutter I use. That's how big it is. Let me move this over so I can make sure what I'm showing you. That is, look at it. It's tiny. It's super slim. It's one piece of metal folded all the way around, and then inside you've got got a locking blade, and then this is super easy. There's a little tab over here that you lift to slide the thing in and out, and it's super small, slim, and it's stainless steel, other than the blade. So if it gets washed, which is when it gets washed, because this will go through the wash, because it's so lightweight you will forget it's in your pocket. And we have these scattered throughout the house, like probably one in every truck. I have them all over the place because, A, everyone in the house steals from me, and B, everyone loves them, and so we're always using them. So, I mean, I have other knives, and I'm not somebody who collects pocket knives on purpose, but I always end up with, a knife or two, and there's always some around. So, not that I can find my freaking Benchmade. Anyway, I digress, and I do it well. So, the Fred says, "Oh, brother, I hear you. There's no way my wife would let me buy one without checking it top to bottom." Yep. I figured as much, but I just wanted to warn you what you're likely to find. Wohawk says, "Check your email. I just sent you a pic to share about pumpkin spice going too far." Oh my gosh, I got to see this. Where's my email? I had it here somewhere. Don't you love that? You just set something down, you walk away. Eleanor did that the other day. She was so upset with herself. I did not buy this, but I took the cup of noodles, pumpkin spice flavor. Oh my gosh! Oh, that sounds horrible. Griffin.
Yeah.
Okay, the kids absolutely love ramen. All right?
No. Nope.
Know what?
It's pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice. Griffin's like, nope, it's not happening, Dad. You can forget about that.
I ain't even trying to.
And they love pumpkin. They do. I'll say this, my dog will stab you for some pumpkin. She loves pumpkin. Pumpkin bread, pumpkin pie, pumpkin rolls, pumpkin anything. If it's got pumpkin in it, she will snarf it and she will hurt you for it. She's usually a really good dog and doesn't like, I could take a steak on a plate and I could sit it down on a coffee table with her 4 inches away and I could walk out of the room and she would sit there and she would stare at it. But she would never do anything. I could take pumpkin bread, leave it on top of the refrigerator, come back, and she'd be like, crumbs everywhere. And she'd be like, what? It wasn't me. It was the chipmunks. All right. Anyway. Oh, come on. Things are skipping on me again. Mark Olson said cold cuttix, I think. Okay. Terry says, I'm dedicated to Ribby 18 because of their commitment to not changing the battery. Will they make the same commit to the 40 volt or should I invest in another 40 volt platform? I don't see a big change coming to the 40 volt platform. I think you'd probably be fine in it. The slide-in batteries tech is, I mean, I don't see anybody moving past it. There's nobody coming out with anything more innovative. Seems pretty solid. Fred says, I've been looking at used trucks and they're off the charts. Still? Are used car prices still crazy? Well, I hope they stay crazy for a little bit because I want to sell my BMW when we get down to Vegas. YouTube says, I can't believe it, but I went to Lowe's earlier this week and Lowe's is already selling Christmas decorations. Did you not see my video on the grills at Walmart? They had everything. That was 2-3 weeks ago, and they had everything cleared out of the home and garden section, and there were pallets on pallets on pallets of Christmas stuff. They had 2 pallets of Halloween stuff. Everything else was Christmas. Just trying to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Michael says, braided cables, they make me concerned. Very often the wall chargers don't set well in the sockets. Metal braid, the cables aren't braided. They have a woven sleeve over them that helps keep the cables more together, I guess. Anyway, the cable itself, it's not like a braided copper cable. Linda says, have you any experience with Toro Dingo? No.
It's Toro Dingo.
Toro is Griffin's by me. What's Toro Dingo? So Dingo is a wild dog, and Toro is a lawnmower company. So no, I don't know anything about it. Let's see here. The one thing I learned, Mike says, is looking at old pictures of the actual metal constructed power tools they used back then look to be about bulletproof. I love the old metal power tools. Those things are fantastic. They weigh a metric ton. Kill King says, my AGM thermal monocular, I'm getting there, came yesterday and it's very nice. I bet it is. Had22 says, I'm slowly getting into the Masterforce 80 volt line of tools. It appears that they are clones of Greenworks. Yeah, I did look at those and I do remember thinking that as well. As are Cobalt and as are the Atlas stuff at Harbor Freight. There's a lot of them out there. Jeff Teeter says EVs are cool if you're able to charge them when you need to. yeah, I mean, that's the thing is infrastructure. It's always, any new fuel source is going to come down to infrastructure. Marine X says, thanks for the shout out, finding my YouTube footing. Hey, man, anytime, you know. Again, I love the stuff that he does over there. If you're into prepping and stuff like that, and I've been, I don't like to call myself a prepper, just a former Boy Scout who's just likes to be prepared and not caught off guard. And a lot of people are like, oh, you're waiting for the zombie apocalypse or all that kind of stuff. And yes, that is true. But no, you never know when there's going to be, you know, we had floods earlier this spring. There are many communities around here that we're lucky we're on a hill, right? Away from, on the opposite side of town from the river. There were people completely flooded out. What are they going to do? And they didn't get water or power for weeks. Well, if you've prepped correctly, you'll have a solution. That's kind of the point. It's not just like, well, there's going to be a solar flare, there's going to be this and that kind of crazy stuff. You got to be prepared for all things. And here's the thing I remember. I remember living in Iowa a long time ago. Well, Hawk, maybe you remember this. And the Raccoon River flooded. And I was a little kid. And I remember it flooding, and it was a big flood, and it took out, or at least it swamped into the water treatment. And there was this big broadcast like, you got to boil your water. In fact, they were going to stop pumping water for a while to backflow some tanks and stuff. And we were 3 days without water. That was special. So, and not to mention the snowstorm, it was 76 or 78. That was, oh my gosh, that was fun. Anyway, the tank says, got 6-drawer bottom heart toolbox for $169. Yes. I'm wicked jealous. All these people, how do you think it makes me feel? I sit here and I talk about all these great deals. I have been wanting that toolbox for the longest time for some home setup use kind of stuff. And I saw these prices drop, and I'm like, I'm going to get one. I'm going to get one. And I've hit every Walmart in the area. One Walmart had it, and they're like, well, it's our display model. We can't sell it. I'm like, yeah, you can. Don't lie to me. But they didn't. So everyone else is showing me all these great things. It's like with the Pit Boss. Like, I got the Laredo 1000, but what I wanted was the KC dual one. A whole bunch of people have been posting that KC that they got for like stupid cheap, and I'm like, oh man. Anyway, moving on. Enough of me whining. Matt says, looking at the small Cyclone dust cylinders for a 5-gallon bucket for dust collection, have any thoughts on this, on any cheap OEM ones? Well, Harbor Freight makes one that's pretty cheap. You can get them on whatchamacallit, on Amazon. There was a super cheap one that is the kind that sits on the 5-gallon. It's not the cone. So it sits on the 5-gallon bucket. The problem is it sits so close to when you're filling. It only really works when the bucket gets filled halfway up. So the hack is to get either get a 6-gallon bucket that uses the same lid type, or get 2 5-gallon buckets, cut the bottom third off the top one, and epoxy it to another one, so you get a taller stack. Because they were getting blown out. I'm not even sure if they carry them anymore, considering how cheap they were selling them. Anyway, just some thoughts on that. Where did I go? Fred says, but in California, they're telling you do not charge your car because the grid can't handle it. They're asking people to refrain. I mentioned that in another video, and all the Californians got butthurt. Oh, they got so butthurt, which is good because I got another California video coming out you're going to love. And why do I love picking on California? Because it's a gorgeous state. I live there. My kids are from there. My wife is from there, and at least she was born there. And and they've completely ruined it. The people there. It's just a terrible place to live. They're nice. They're enclaves that are nice and respectable, but for the most part, not so much. Major's Workshop says, I saw a video where 2 Teslas in auto mode failed to stop in time before running into 2 separate motorcycles from behind at highway speeds. I did see that they're having a problem with motorcycle recognition. And I don't know. They're rationale to not integrate lidar. I get where he was coming from, but I would not have taken that much to put two lidar, integrate them, surreptitiously, like near the headlights or something. I don't know why he didn't go that route. Fred says, on the northern lights will be getting brighter due to the northern lights will be getting brighter due to the northern lights.
What?
Little voice from behind me. What? Kevin says, Bauer is better than Hercules. Bauer is a bigger line. It's less expensive. And for the average homeowner, it'll do everything you need to do. That's what we run at the house. If you go over in our back room, in the mud room, as we call it, that's where all our power tools and hand tools that we use at the house live. And it's all Bauer. Now, there's stuff that we use for testing and whatnot. And in the shop, I use that kind of stuff. But Bauer is what we use at home, and it works just fine. Be cautious going with the earthquake impact. It's on clearance, yes, but we don't have any more in the warehouse. Meaning, they're done with earthquake cordless. That's all going away. That said, it is the same platform as Durofix, and the same platform as many of the AC Delcos. So if you need to get a charger or more batteries or other tools that work with it, make sure you look at the battery, make sure you're getting the right one. But the Durofix, I think all of the Durofix line in the 20 volt and most of the AC Delco stuff will work, as well as if you're looking at the Earthquake 12 volt, there are two AC Delco lines. So make sure you're getting the one with the right battery. But there is a line that uses the exact same battery, exact same charger. Thank you for answering my questions. Love your channel, Steve says. Wild Stringdom says, about to start power tool college. Can't decide between Milwaukee and DeWalt. Use DeWalt all the time at work. Fan of Harbor Freight, but don't like the limited line from Hercules. I don't blame you about the limited line from Hercules. That's a big issue. I was planning to do a video on this, like which one I would go with. DeWalt has really stepped up in the past 2 years and really come out with some fabulous tools. Milwaukee, of course, has been making great tools for a while now, and they have a fantastic battery line, and they have a 5-year warranty. Prices being equal, I would go with Milwaukee. I mean, I'm a Makita fan, but I would probably, if it was me, I would probably go with Milwaukee. And I've got issues with Milwaukee corporate. I think they're being a little bit sleazy right now with the way they're doing their public relations and stuff. But even still, I would still say if that's your choices, I would go with Milwaukee in that situation. Ray says, hello from Michigan. He who controls the spice controls the seasonal beverages. I shall allow the beverage to flow through me and within me. I'm not going to go any further with that. Cone Filter says, thoughts on Metabo HPT? Ichiban-san. Metabo HPT is excellent. It's what I call a value, what they call a value pro line. And the way I look at it is like this. There's basically 5 levels of tools. There's pro, value pro, prosumer, DIY, and garbage. So, the Makita, not Makita, Metabo HPT, which used to be Hitachi, lifetime warranty, not your lifetime, the lifetime of the tool line. As long as they're still making that tool, they will warranty it, and that's usually a fairly long time. So, definitely something you might want to consider. Anyway. I don't have a problem with it. We often recommend it. And it goes on sale. If you want, especially between Lowe's and Amazon, you can get some great deals. Fred Hill says, the ham radio guys call it space weather. Seems the sun has a case of indigestion and kicks crap out on the earth. And the earth catches some of it. Jumping around. Where'd I go? I was here somewhere. There I am. Woo! CME coronal mass ejection. Jeff Teeter says, I enjoy sharpening my pocket knives. Hi, Princess. A skill I learned from my grandpa. I love sharpening. I was actually going to teach the kids recently how to sharpen. What's going on? How you like the new camera?
There's a new camera?
I'm using the iPhone.
Oh.
Don't I look a lot more beautiful and majestic?
Interesting.
Hey, can you do me a huge favor?
Mm.
Can you grab me a soda?
No, I can't.
Thanks.
Sorry.
How about a Coke?
No.
How about if I grab your ears?
Mm.
That help?
No.
Squish your face? Oh. Anyway, sorry about that.
I want my face scratched. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Bella, come. Come here. Come on. Come on. Come on. You want to say hi? Okay, gotta come up here. Gotta come a little higher if you're gonna. Oh, hi. Yeah. She usually has to make 1 or 2 appearances per show. So, are you gonna sit down and?
No.
No. She's too good for us. You gonna go hang out with your friends?
What friends?
Yeah. Anyway. Gotta get my caffeine for the day. I love you too. She's a good girl. She's a little touched in the head, but we love her. All right. Where did we go? We're talking about sharpening pocket knives. Oh, I just ordered a new pocket knife. It's a kitchen knife, like a Japanese style kitchen knife that folds. So I'm excited to get that. I'm plan to get a whole set of those for the RV. Ramen rocks. I do love me some ramen. Ramen's a good comfort food, right? Especially like good ramen. There's a place I'll probably be going there. There's a place in Vegas that's a ramen, like a real ramen house. Oh, it's really good.
Oh, it's really good. I'm a big fan of ramen.
The cheap seats back there keep commenting.
I know.
Where do we go? Sorry, I know I'm getting way behind. That's what happens when the missus isn't here to keep me on target. Moss says, any of that fakey spice stuff is carpy, not regular pumpkin spice, etc. That's fine. And Linda says, I'm not a professional mechanic, but I play one on TV. No, I'm sorry. Says, but like nice, reliable tools, so I buy Pittsburgh Pro sockets and Icon wrenches. Can't go wrong with that, really. I mean, the sockets are fantastic. The Icon is I like the Icon stuff. I think it's top notch. And you got a lifetime warranty from your local Harbor Freight, and there's 1,300 of them. Fred says, the thing that sucks is I can only tow 3,500 pounds. I wish I could buy a truck. Even used, they're off the chart. Yeah. I hear you. We used to be there, which is why we bought the trucks, and it was a big hit. For those of you who don't know, I bought my truck used a little over a year ago. I should do a 1-year update, but it's a 2014 Ram 3500 with Cummins diesel, 4-door mega cab, and which means it's got the 6.5 bed. It's a 4x4. It's not factory. It's not lifted or anything on just respectable multi-use off-road, not off-road, but all-terrain tires. I do have a deer killer of a front bumper, but that came with it. And it's a bit overkill for what we're doing. I probably would have been fine with a 3/4 ton. Probably may have had a better ride on the 3/4 ton. But we paid $30,000 for a used 1 ton with 190,000 miles on it, and we're now at like 218 or something. So maybe it was 208. I don't think it's that high. The tank says pumpkin rolls with cream cheese icing are very good, especially if you get one from an actual pumpkin patch farm that makes it in-house to die for. Mark says, Indomie Mi Goreng Ramen is my favorite. Linda says, and U.S. General tool cabinets. Gotta love. I had the first person today who just really ripped into U.S. General tool cabinets. He said he got the 44-inch and he hated it. He had the top and the bottom. And he says everything about it's been terrible. I don't know what's going on, man. He said the wheels suck, the handles suck, the liners suck, the slides suck, and I'm like, I'm half wondering. I'm like, you sure it was from U.S. General? Luke says ramen is great. I still eat it from time to time. Spectre Air says, why do you think Metabo HPT does not release all the tools that Hikoki has to offer in other parts of the world? The 12 volt could compete with Milwaukee. I have no idea, because it was even before bought them and bought Metabo. So I'm trying to remember who the parent company. Well, that's it. The parent company is some investment firm, if I'm not mistaken, and they just look at the numbers. It sucks because I think it's an excellent option for a lot of pros. They have decent batteries. They work. The tools work great. They put out a lot of power. I love they have a lot of the options of the with the 36 volt, and and the price is really reasonable. Great warranty, and they just don't. They have just a pitiful selection here. Anyway, Mark Olson says flavored coffee is from the devil. I hate to admit, like I when I was younger, I drank black coffee, and I got away from coffee, and now I drink stuff like this for my caffeine. And the but I like cold brews coffee, and I like the frappuccinos, like those bottles from the store of Starbucks Frappuccino are straight up crack. All right, but the caramel macchiato, the kids get that every so often, and I'm like, oh, that's just terrible. Do you think wireless charging will ever make its way to hand tools? I don't, and I'll tell you why. So I've got wireless charging on this phone, and I've used it before, but it's only when it's like super convenient. It's slow, and it has a lot of attenuation because it's going through stuff, and I worry about that, what it's doing to the battery long term. I don't see the wireless charging because they're trying to get more and more capacity into batteries. Well, until wireless charging can really up the voltage, as it were, until they can shove more watts in there, it's not going to keep up with the expansion of batteries. Is it possible for a Milwaukee 16 amp battery? That's the only way I could see Milwaukee coming out with a riding lawnmower, or doing multiple batteries. That's what whatchamacallit, the new Ryobi does that. So it's got the regular batteries that you put in, plus you can plug in like some of the standard 40 volt batteries as well. And I find it funny because Milwaukee made this huge deal about we're never going 40 volt, because we know the technology of lithium ion. We can make the standard one do everything it wants. And yet they now have two dual battery, their outdoor power equipment, but we're going to see more because at some point you got to go that route. The Ted says wireless charging is tremendously inefficient. Well, he said it much more succinctly than I did. So would Toro Dingo be a bulldog? That's funny. That's funny. Wohawk says being diabetic ramen is so bad. However, it's delicious, and so many hacks for it, depending being on disability, is unfortunately a staple. But I doubt I'll ever try that pumpkin spice ramen. No, I never will. That's just so terrible. Dingo is not a dog. Manliness and Motivation says the nice thing about the Ford Lightning is you can put a generator in the back or in the front because it's got the frunk thing on it. Bob says Wally World seems to have a new heart wave of tools coming in. Yeah, I think they're moving to brushless with a lot of stuff. So they're clearing out a bunch of the brushed tools, which I think is awesome. Florida about to get smashed. Yeah, my thoughts and prayers with the folks down in Florida. They're about to get walloped. Have the Cubs look up ramen lasagna. I haven't tried it, but yet very curious. Okay, that.
Oh, sounds.
Toro Dingo is a stand-on skid steer. That sounds cool. The Dingo is end loader, and you ride it like a stand-on mower. However, it also has attachment like an auger. Oh, that sounds like fun. I could have lots of fun with that. Tank says, literally today at Harbor Freight, I had two independent customers that bought tons of solar stuff. One bought $800 worth of batteries and panels. The other bought $250 worth of panels. Speaking of which, I have a company that says they're sending me a lithium ion 12 volt. Not lithium ion. I take it back. It's a LiPo 4 12 volt battery. And we're going to try that on the RV. Switch the RV over to that. And so we'll have a video on that. which is the kind of battery you'd also want to use when doing any kind of real like home solar kind of setup and stuff like that. Kill King 10 says, if anything, the power grid will fail due to age before the storm ever hits it. And Manliness Motivation says, my neighbor down the road near the highway got a big solar panel set up out in the front of their mobile home. Then they cut down trees to be more environmentally friendly. And Mark says, it can kill the transformers. Boy, I was in San Francisco living there one year when a transformer blew. Took out a third of the city. That was for like days. Grizzly makes some great dust collection. They do. I don't see it as being significantly better than what Harbor Freight offers. Freedom Van says, I went hog wild at Harbor Freight this weekend. Bummed I bought the U.S. General 44-inch, but then I got home and found out it wasn't the Series 2. What did you buy if it wasn't the Series 2? And Paul says, hold on, where'd it go? Thanks for everything. Question, I have 17 kilowatt solar, 2 Tesla batteries. It is a big Harbor Freight generator design where it will connect into the system as a backup. It's not designed to work into the backup. You'll need a panel that can handle the transfer of the power and stuff like that. Now, it's got the connections. The bigger ones have the connections for like a 30 amp or 50 amp circuit. You can do stuff like that. We've got the 9000 inverter one, and I'm really happy with that. And in fact, actually, I have quite a few generators by now. Just different ones that we've been testing. Somebody just sent us a Power Smart sent us a 4,500 watt inverter generators. We'll be testing here shortly. But anyway, that said, it's just like powering into a house. You need to have the cutover switch and that kind of stuff if you're going to do the house. But I don't think there's anything about the generator specifically that's like designed to integrate into solar. It just has the outputs it has, and then you can wire those up to solar however you want. Not to the solar, but to your battery bank. Missed the top of the hour. I missed the top of the hour. Wow, it's 7:21. I did miss it. That's what happens when the missus isn't around. Anyway, what Bader's talking about is I like to take time. Hold on. Let me save my spot. All right, spot saved. Oh, wait. Okay, we answered that. Spot saved. No, I missed Hiram Buffetum. Just got the Tractor Supply JobSmart 116-piece screwdriver set. It's beautiful, and I guarantee if you leave it in the rain, you'll destroy it. Oh. I'll have to take a look at JobSmart. I've not really thought much of the JobSmart tools, but I'm always looking for another good recommendation for screwdrivers, so I'll have to take a look at that. But 613 on the super chat. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. As always, you're always around helping out the channel. Fortunately, the missus isn't here. She's the one who usually reads these things, so I don't pay as much attention to them as I should. And don't forget that Chaka loves Ryobi. Barbecue 76 says $2. Nice. All right. Anyway, top of the hour is, I want to say a huge thank you to all of our mods. That's everyone with the cobalt blue wrench behind their name. A lot of them are also YouTube channel creators as well. So if you are one of the mods, if you want to direct people over to your channel, make sure you post a link to it so people can find you, because finding some of the smaller channels can be a bit difficult sometimes. And if you're a viewer and you want to support the community, go check out one of the channels. Maybe you'll find some new awesome content that you haven't seen before. Also want to say a huge thank you to everyone like Barbecue 76 and Hiram Buffetum and Paul Woodrup and everyone else who supports the channel with the super chats. You guys are always fantastic. Thank you so much. And also all our fellow bears. We got Fred Hills in the house. Frank Landgriff's in the house. Who else are in? Barbecue 76. There were some other ones. Jeff Teeter is here. Futano 2 was around here somewhere. Anyway, that's everyone with the bear behind their name. And that means you're part of the YouTube member kind of thing. And there's information down below if you want to look into that. Anyway. So, and, wait, where'd it go? Homily 665, member for 35 months, going red. Toolbar. Good evening, all. How you doing? So, if you don't know, the color of the bear determines how long they've been a member, and red is the maximum, the highest level. So, anyway, thank you so much for all of you for being part of the channel. Thank you for everyone who's not a member. You know, the easiest way you can support the channel is just hitting that like button. You know what? It's nice getting super chats and having members and all that kind of stuff, but just, you know, hitting the like button really does it for me. Makes me warm and fuzzy inside. Wohawk says, "Where's the Raccoon River? I was born in '78. I don't think it was flowing back then. No, I tease you. It's the one that runs right through Des Moines, Iowa. Was it the Raccoon or was it the Des Moines River? I think it was the Raccoon. Anyway, or it was where the two meet or something. And Fred says, I lived in Omaha, Nebraska, 1994. The Missouri River flooded in 94. It was bad. Offutt Air Force Base was lucky we didn't flood. Oh, that's a big base. I remember going and seeing the space shuttle land at Offutt. And also one of the B-1 bombers. That was cool looking. Wings of Pizza says, late to the chat, just wanted to say I appreciate what you do. Love the latest video on what company owns what brands. Thank you so much. I had a lot of people comment like, you already did this video. I'm like, this stuff changes, just so you know. We kind of have to do it every so often. Oh, and there was a lot of info in that video. Let's see here. California is being destroyed. I'm seeing it firsthand. Get out while you still can. DT says the folding WorkPro knife with hooked utility blades were great addition to my hunting pack last year. Do you do that? Do you use the hook blade for skinning? Because I don't like it. It just doesn't work for me. Let's not forget people were rioting, looting in Omaha, Nebraska in 2020. It was a mostly peaceful protest, people. Nicholas says, my wife and I thought the old camera was wanting, got on just now, and we both thought the video was better. Oh, okay, I get it. Sorry, I'm a little slow to say. Awesome, I'm glad you like the video quality better. Where'd we go here? Just making sure I haven't missed anything. I probably have. If I miss your comment, I'm really sorry. I try to get them all. Mark says, torque down the like button, folks. You can try and over-torque it. Go for it. See if you can over-torque that button. Do you recommend a folding portable workstation like the WorkPro? Is that the big one? It looks like it's like something also you could stand on to reach, you know, like mini scaffolding kind of thing. Because I don't know. It looks cool. It also looks like it's trying too hard, like it's trying to be too many things. And often I find those are just kind of a pain. I haven't used one, so I can't really say. I've got the adjustable height workbench. That's fantastic. Collection, not collage. Okay, that makes more sense. Bullwinkle says, I was shopping for a vise and wanted to Harbor Freight Doyle as per your recommendation, but none in stock. Bought the Capri 4-inch and love it. Capri does have some good vices. In fact, is it the one that's kind of like a swept curve kind of look? I think they're OEMing it from the same people who do the rigid vise, because the rigid one's gorgeous. Freedom says, any advice about a U.S. General 44-inch this weekend and found when I got home and opened it, it was not the Series 2. What series is it? How deep is it? You can take it back. You got 90 days to take things back, so it's not like they can't take it back, but I don't know how a Series 1 would have gotten through the store. Oh, let's see here. Owns Jeep stuff. Member for 30 months. Woo woo. And Sinan. It says your video on the label maker killed me. You know what? So the other label maker. Hold on. You're gonna have to. It's gonna get a little shaky cam here for a second because I'm actually using it to help prop up my camera that I'm using. Let me tilt this up a little bit there. Okay. So this is, well, actually, let me, hold on. I got both of them. So this is the label maker that they sent me. And it works. It works fine. This is the label maker I bought myself. It's the same company. It's still Nimbot. That's the thing. This thing won't focus. Come on. So usually if you hold up your hand or something behind everything, it'll be forced to focus. But no, we can't do that. Oh, what a pain. Anyway, it says Nimbot. And as you can see, the thickness, this one is, yes, it's a little, it's the same thickness. It's the same thickness. It's not as tall. Okay. It's the same width that way. But this one's a little bit taller. The plastic on this one is cheaper. This has the, hold on. Let's do this. And that kind of plastic versus, this has like what feels to be like a slightly softer plastic that'll have more give, whereas this feels like the harder plastic that's more likely to crack if you drop it or something like that. But other than that, it does the same thing. It's got a USB-C port in the bottom. It's still, you have a little switch up here you do to put your paper or your stuff in. It does everything else the other one does, but it also stands up and lays down. It doesn't roll over, and it was cheaper. And I think it prints like the bigger size and the smaller size, where this only prints one size. This is the one you want to get. All right, mini review time. You weren't expecting that, were you? Let's see here. Where was I? I was way back there. Let's play a little speed catch up, shall we? I'll try to catch up. A couple months ago, Tesla being driven on auto drive in the interstate and the rest of the area hit the back of a parked semi at 70 miles an hour, killing the occupants. Yep. YouTube says, I thought of something about cars. Does Lightning McQueen from Disney's Pixar car franchise, does he buy and pay for car insurance or life insurance? That's a really good question. As far as the Teslas, there's always going to be accidents with technology. You're not going to get around it. The question is, do the accidents with technology, are they less often than the accidents with a human driver? And that's it. Also, you don't have to do it on auto drive. So there's that. Timmy says, I agree, even as a consumer of their products, that Milwaukee corporate seems to run their nose up at consumers almost like they're ashamed to know that we even buy their stuff. This is the thing. Here's what they're doing with their marketing. They're doing that, no, this isn't for you, for the commons. This is for professionals. You can't have it. By the way, go here, buy this, and we'll give you all these super hot deals, and we'll do these all BOGO deals and stuff like that. They advertise like nobody's business. If it was just for pros, you wouldn't see it in Home Depot. You would see it. I mean, the same way like Hilti. You don't see Hilti, showing up on store shelves. No, they're doing that thing of we're just for pros, but they are totally catering to the consumer. They totally want the end user to buy it as well. And I'll tell you, the issue I have that really goes over the top is they contact me every year, pretty much once a year, sometimes twice, especially if I go to a trade show. I will get contacted by either at the show or by somebody from Milwaukee saying, hey, we checked out your channel, love your content, we'd love to send you some tools for review and put you on our list for when new tools come out, which is common. Almost every company in the industry does it. And I'm like, sure, not a problem. They're like, great, I'm going to submit the list to my boss at the end of the week, and we'll be back in touch. And I never hear from them again. And the reason being is the first time somebody from Milwaukee contacted me, and there was a big deal going on with a lot of people not disclosing that they were getting either paid to do videos or getting free tools for videos. And a lot of people weren't disclosing. We have always disclosed here on the channel because it's just the ethical thing to do. But the government said was going to fine YouTube if they didn't do this. And YouTube's like, okay, we're going to put these things in place. We're going to be more transparent, yada, yada, yada. So I say to the Milwaukee rep, figuring that he's going to be concerned about this, I'm like, oh, and don't worry, we always disclose when free tools are provided. And it was like, That's okay. And never heard from them again. And I still see them working with other companies or other channels that do not disclose when they get free tools, and or do not disclose that Milwaukee flew them on a trip to go and review tools and put them up in an expensive hotel, take them out for dinner. This is a thing. These junkets is in every industry and stuff. There's stuff like this, but the fact about it is the disclosure. And I talked to a rep recently at Milwaukee. In fact, I believe the head of PR for Milwaukee, and I asked her point blank, why do you do this? And she said, Milwaukee never pays for reviews. And I'm like, that wasn't what I asked. And I never heard back from her again. So, anyway, sorry, rant there. Frank says, hey, everyone, please give the live talk a like. Thank you so much. AD says, is there a middle-of-the-road plier set you recommend for general use? There's a lot of them. I think Irwin makes some great stuff. The Doyle stuff at Harbor Freight is excellent. Tecton is fantastic. Channel Lock. Maybe that's a little higher than middle of the road. Channel Lock, made in the USA, decent brand. Who else does some decent ones? There's some different levels of Husky stuff, but it's not very consistent. I think that's probably it I can think of off the top of my head. Wild says, it's easier to get my hands on Milwaukee and DeWalt around here. There's always going to be some of that. Mike says, there were no reports on the results of the investigation into the cause of the malfunction of the Tesla. Really? They usually release those reports. Hart versus Ryobi. If you find yourself at Home Depot all the time and you need a really huge selection of tools, probably go with the Ryobi. Personally, I like the Hart tools. I like being able to go to any Walmart to get batteries and chargers and other tools for it. As I said, we use it in our RV because when you're traveling, what's always there? There may not be a Home Depot, but there's always a Walmart. And as I said before, while Ryobi has one of the largest lines of tools out there, many of them are redundant. Like they'll have a very base level brushed, and then they'll have a mid-level brushed, and then they'll have a really good brushed, and then they'll have a brushless, and then they'll have a brushless with some other feature added on. They have 9 string trimmers. 9. Nobody needs 9 string trimmers. Not 9 different models of them at the very least. Cohen says, thoughts on SK and getting bought and starting over again. Starting over again? I'm waiting for that. I grew up with SK. I love SK. I'm a certified SK fan bear. As far as I'm concerned, SK's dead. Until they prove me otherwise, it's been a year now, and we still haven't heard anything from them. Their website says, we're redoing our stuff, and I hear tons and tons of people complaining that, like, hey, I got SK tools. I try to contact them for customer support to get a repair or replacement, and all I get are crickets. That's a problem. I mean, I get your retooling, you're trying to figure stuff out, but you just cannot abandon the people who already have your tools. And if you do that, I'm not going to support you. So, hey, I don't fix cars, but I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. I know that feeling. Mark says, best ramen I had was homemade by my wife in Taiwan. Show off. Can she make me some? Kevin says, I actually bought a 79cc Predator motor for $115 and ordered like 200 parts for it, soup it up, the 304 stainless exhaust, and all kind of goodies. Oops, you slipped and bought one, huh? Hate it when that happens. It's just, you trip over that credit card and it just comes out. Tristan says, looking to get my first tools, Hart versus Ryobi. Well, I pretty much just answered that. Basically, Hart has constraints. But if those constraints work with you, then go with that route. I don't like the battery system that Ryobi has. I do have Ryobi tools. Not a ton of them, but I do have a few of them. I did try to like the ratchet. It's terrible. It's just terrible. Sorry, it's terrible. Mark says, Yukon box, I like it. I got a Yukon box. I've had it for years. It thing's gotten beat and rained on and snowed on. It's fine. Beans and nachos to you. Tom says, your truck sounds like should still last a long time if previous owners kept the maintenance. Well, the previous owners were the Montana Club. And if you don't know what the Montana Club is, that means you can't afford it. And yeah, like full service records, they even like wrote in like that paint Sharpie on the parts inside the engine bay every time it was serviced and when the next service is. So that's part of the part which made me feel comfortable about getting this because I know it was serviced regularly. The sounds like that person got a knockoff Kill Kings. It does kind of sound like it, doesn't it? Den Tools QD says, please someone bring it to the attention that Flex and Cobalt are made by the same group. I'm still bringing it to your attention. I've done video on video telling people this. All right. It's the latest video I just did last week, 3 days ago. It talks about Shervon. I have a history of Shervon. I have all this launch stuff about. I talk about it constantly. And it's a good thing. I think Shervon's a fantastic company. So, and it doesn't mean they're the same quality tools. All right. Stanley Black & Decker makes DeWalt. They also make Black & Decker. Not the same quality tool. Flex is a good tool. It's not the same level that, I say Cobalt's a good tool. It's not the same level as Flex. Cohen says, your Cummins is just getting around to being broken in. Also, I love driving those old manual 12. Oh, I wish it was the manual, but it's not. In fact, I've been looking for a manual truck. I want to get one of the big Broncos with a manual. If I can find one, I will be tickled pink. Save the Sun says, I'm pretty diehard in Metabo right now. They're refreshing a lot of the tools for a global release. Dude, I'll be thrilled if they come out with new stuff. It's been a while. They're due. I know since the takeover, there was all the rebranding kind of stuff, but I'd love to see new stuff, updated stuff from them. Don't get me wrong. The stuff they have now is pretty awesome. Tank says, I still have my 5-drawer tool cart from U.S. General from Black Friday in 2018. The good old days when $229 regular price and $199 on sale. Man, I remember when that thing was $150 on sale. Wireless charging is the future. If they can fix the attenuation problems. Landon's in the house. Hey, Landon, pumpkin spice. Pumpkin belongs in a pie, maybe bread and a muffin. That's a no. Yeah, that's for sure. Time is money when charging stuff. And there's also safety and other issues involved as well. Milwaukee has that 36-volt blower now. Yep. So much for we'll never do that. Kind of like, I get a lot of people also telling me, well, I'm going to go with Milwaukee because they've never, dropped a tool line and screwed over their customers like brand X. I'm like, you've never heard of 28-volt at Milwaukee yeah. So anyway. Fred Hill says, hey, folks, hit that like button. It's fat-free. Inferno says, hey, Jeff, just wanted to say hi to you and yours. You too. They're calling on the hurricane. They're calling on now the hurricanes probably turn right and hit the panhandle of Florida. Festool is supposed to be the best in dust collection. They are definitely, I think, the top of the game when it comes to dust collection. Mark says, Generac has a solar system that is quite expandable and holds promise. I'll have to take a look at that. Mater put his link. Go ahead and check it out. Manless Motivation says, I use the JobSmart Vice Grip a lot, but when I can find a deal. Echo Belkin says, hi, Owens Jeep stuff, dabbing it down. Internal Harm says, yay, I made it. Always happy when Internal Harm shows up. Time to feed the mods. Very nice. Let's see here. Try the Malco ones. Malco is not reasonably priced. They're fantastic. I love them. Malco has sent me free stuff. I love Malco. I'm thrilled with what they did for Nebraska and revitalizing that, but they're not budget by any means. They're in the middle of the road. Are there members only jackets? There's not. We should come up with something like that. Somebody was saying we should come up with other, besides the tool bear, have like different logos. So if you don't like the tool bear thing, you could be like a tool ferret, or what is it, a tool possum or something, and have them like the World War II kind of logos where you see them turn to the side and their arms all buff. And anyway, what do you think? Think we should do something like that? So we should commission some art. Mark says, Bears, got to run Bears. See y'all next time. Mark Elmer says, hello. Landon says, the Husky acetate handle screwdrivers, it's like classic Stanley and Craftsman I had and loved as a child, both. But those are good ones. I like them. You're spot on with those. The only downside is they're not made in the USA like the old Craftsman were. But you know what? It's 2022. What are you going to do? Anthony says, solar on RV, finishing my RV solar this week. And YouTube says, Lightning McQueen from the Disney Pixar Cars franchise. We talked about that. Hiram says, well, see you, Red Bear. Tractor Supply, Job Smart items may not be super durable, but they're extremely accurate and workable for such at a low price. I love Tractor Supply. Just the stuff I've gotten there from the Job Smart. And I don't know. Okay, let me back up. I don't have a Tractor Supply near me. And even when we're in Vegas, it's an hour away over in Pahrump. And nobody likes going to Pahrump. So I haven't seen a lot of their stuff in 4 years. Fred Hill says, I need to replace my old jack stands. What jack stand do you recommend? The Daytona jacks from Harbor Freight. They're new, they're updated, they got the safety pin. You're not going to find something, especially when they're on sale, you're not going to find something close to it for that price. Have you seen the new fence post staplers from DeWalt in Milwaukee? I have, and I talked to a lot of people out here because, I'm in ranching country, and they all looked at me and went, hell no, I'm not carrying that all the way down, doing all that stuff. I'm fine with my stapler the way it is. Maybe they're just stubborn. I'll try and talk a buddy of mine into getting one, and maybe we can do some fencing with it. Probably won't be the next spring, though. Wild says, I have the Royal King version of that 116 screwdriver set. Real work, I think, not bad for the money, not pro grade for sure. Anyone interested in the new Flex Stack? Not until they got more components. For me, I need to have drawers in the stack systems. That's a necessity for me. Freedom Van, I should say, it's 22-inch deeps. Maybe I'm confused. It doesn't have the Series 2 badge on the right that I've seen on others. That's not uncommon. And not all of them come with the Series 2 badge. But if it's 22 inches deep, it's the Series 2. Fred Hale says, be right back. Wings and Pizza, never pay for reviews in the form of free tools, LOL. How about that Spanish brand, Torquemada tools? Very good at converting the undecided. Nobody expects the Spanish tool brand. Bullwinkle says, I hope you got information about both Grizzly Board Buddies for anti-kickback and also Jess and Booth have videos. Grizzly Board Buddies, I've not seen those. I will have to take a look at those. Usually I just, riving knife is fine for the stuff that I do. Amelie says, Tool Review Zone says that it can always pays off to have a charger and Ryobi batteries around for those unique tools that they have. Yeah, I guess I use it for the PEX plumbing, that kind of stuff. And I have some of the lighting stuff and the Ryobi fan and the ratchet I did buy a core unit last year during Ryobi days. I got their HP stuff. So I have the HP drill, I have the HP Impact. I never really use them. They're not bad. It's just I've got other tools I like better. Why didn't you like the Ryobi ratchet? You're talking about the most current gen, right? It's lame that the ratchet does not have the HP terminals to take advantage of high performance. I don't know, but it's the one that it's not an extended one. It's the standard one, 18 volt, has the short neck on it. It rotates around 180 degrees, and it's huge. It's bulky. It's cumbersome to use, and even with the battery rotated, it still gets to be an issue sometimes. I did not care for it. I will not eat or use green ratchets with a goat. I will not use green ratchets on a boat. I do not like them, Sam I am. Why didn't you like the... I just talked about that. Renegade's Garage says, hello, everyone. Michael says, while watching, I was enjoying a little supper. My beagle, Molly, seems to think dinner is her dinner. I wish this dog would learn English. Come on. It's a beagle, right? And beagles, as far as beagles are concerned, all food is dog food. They will eat everything. I've often joked that if I ever had a huge estate, I would buy a pack of about 20 beagles and only keep them about half fed. Be like a roving band of land piranhas. Nothing left behind them. The tool deer. I love deer. I got my deer friend up there. Got one behind me under the hats. I think deer are just amazing creatures. I love a lot of the logos and stuff that use deer and whatnot. So I could see a tool deer. That'd be pretty cool. New York pizza. I could probably go for a slice. I am the tool honey badger. That's awesome. Tool honey badger don't play. You okay back there?
No.
The door getting you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want the tool fungus. That way nobody will want to borrow mine. What are you going to be, Elle? You going to be a tool bear or something else? Tool fox. She's more down with the fox type critters.
Also like cats.
Tool sloth or tool anteater. That'd be good. Tool badger. I could definitely see the tool badger. I like the tool sloth idea. Guess what? Gurmute says, still in Miami, was hoping for a hurricane to run me off, but no go. Oh my gosh, he's still down there. We should go visit him. What do you think?
I've never been to Florida. I like it.
Yeah. Maybe after the hurricane. I've only been in one hurricane, and it was in Washington, D.C. It was kind of gnarly. I've been in lots of tornadoes, and too many to count earthquakes. Cohen says, what do you think about the Craftsman RP power tools? I gotta tell you, when the Craftsman stuff came out, I was really disappointed in it. And I think the new line of brushless stuff is a real step up, and they're really trying to redeem themselves. That said, it's in a lot of cases, it's just like a demoted DeWalt, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think like many of the Black & Decker stuff where Craftsman really falls down is their batteries and their chargers. They can have all the best tools in the world, but if you've got junky batteries that are overpriced with slow chargers, who cares? Mike says, I know it'd probably be too expensive to do. I just picture in my mind a blue denim and tan suede jacket with the Den of Tools Blue Bear logo where a breast pocket would be. That sounds cool. Blue denim and tan suede. That sounds pretty awesome. Been in too many prairie fires. A bunch of fires. I got hit on my way to work when I was living in the Central Valley, and there was a big brush fire, and one of the tankers hit me with their anti-fire retardant stuff. Had to wash that car like nobody's business. I couldn't believe that. Get those 80s member-only jackets for members only. That was the first thing I thought of. That's the first place my head went. Like, ooh, members only. I love those things. Michael says, if you're going to Florida, may I suggest a song? Billy Joel's Miami 2017. Fun tune, not the most popular. The Mater says that Doyle electric screwdrivers are worth the money. I got the set just for the number one ECX, and it makes it easy. And Owens Jeep says, get bowling shirts made that the bear wears. I'll buy one from you. I have spent so much time looking for bowling shirts, for custom bowling shirts, and they'd come out to be like $60 to $80. And I don't think many people are going to buy $80 bowling shirts. And I'm really bummed because I have spent, and if you've got a lead on somebody who makes bowling shirts that can do it for cheaper, I'd be thrilled to. But anyway. Tommy says, love your videos. Great chat as well from New Orleans. Old Jeep says, I will, LOL. Yeah, anyway, it's, what? What now?
I'm gonna go watch movies in the car.
I'm gonna go watch movies. Well, we're almost done here.
It's okay.
In fact, we should wrap things up. I gotta go take care of the missus and stuff. A blue Hercules bowling shirt sold. That would be cool. I would love that. Anyway, we do have to wrap things up. I gotta go take care of the missus. It's about 8 o'clock. Probably should make some food for. They brought home food. They've already been fed. But anyway, I still gotta go take care of the missus. Anyway, Brian says there are tools you bring to work, wrenches, and tools you bring to the work too, table saws. There's a push to make the latter more like the former by making them battery powered. There is a lot of. I'd like being able to take. There's both cases actually. I know taking the tool to the work versus taking the work to the tool. Like the big thing is like track saws. I think track saws are way underrated, and that more Americans need to give them a try. Freedom Van says, my first live stream and you answered my questions, so I'm relieved. Thanks. No worries. Owen says, night all. Michael says, regard to the brides, keep it sane. Cohen says, good night. You all take care. God bless. And as always, shine on.